Hi everybody, I'm really excited to have Superintendent Steve Unowsky with us today. Thank you for coming. And we'll learn a little bit more from Superintendent Unowsky about the plans for the school district around COVID-19 for the upcoming year and the impact that it's had on our kids. So Superintendent Unowsky, could you talk a little bit about the impact that COVID-19 has had on the last school year and how the school year that we wrapped up just turned out and how you thought it went?
Absolutely, and thank you for inviting me to this conversation. I'm really pleased to be here. You know, when I look back at spring of 2020, I'm extremely proud of the work that our Richfield Public Schools team did on, frankly, almost no notice. We turned around childcare in one day, we turned around providing food to our families also in one day, and we spent the spring making sure that we were providing services that our students and families need and that our students and families deserve. Our staff turned around our entire instructional model on almost no notice. And so we had 8 days to plan and then began implementing instruction right after spring break. Because there was no notice, we weren't able to do much live teaching. So we really focused on how do we create taped videos and opportunities for our students to learn at any time of their day or frankly in the middle of the night. And so it wouldn't interrupt their learning and it wouldn't interrupt our teachers' teaching. The good thing about what we learned in that moment is that our students are able to thrive in that atmosphere, but it's not as good as we can do if we have a larger amount of planning. So we've spent this entire summer working to make sure that the lessons that we learned in the spring are things we can build into our planning in the fall.
Thank you. So we know Governor Walz just announced last week that it will be up to the school districts themselves to decide the kind of model that they will be using for this coming school year. Can you talk a little bit more about the tentative plans of the Richfield School District for this coming year?
Sure. And so while we think that schools are able to decide, one thing that is important for us to keep in mind is that case rates and current infection rates of COVID-19 also play a big part in what we're deciding to do. We in schools are experts in education. What we're not experts in is public health. And so the governor laid out a model for aligning our programming and what we have in terms of in-person instruction to the amount of case rates in Hennepin County. So if there are 0 to 9 case rates in Hennepin County, we're able to fully open our schools and have in-person instruction with 0 to 9 case rates per 10,000 residents. If there are 50 or more COVID cases per 10,000 residents, we would be entirely in distance, which means that all students and teachers would be learning from their homes. And then in between 10 and 49 case rates per 10,000 residents of Hennepin County, we would be doing some form of hybrid. Now, hybrid is where it gets very complex. Everybody understands what in-person is, and everybody understands what distance is. What hybrid is that students spend some amount of time within our buildings, learning in person, and some amount of time learning in their homes. Right now, what we're doing is we're surveying our families to see what is the best model of hybrid that works for people's families, to make sure that we're getting the best possible blend of in-person and distance instruction. The only other thing I would add to that is that distance learning is actually something we'll provide to any family wanting it, regardless of whether or not we are in person or hybrid for other students. So I'll say that again because that bears repeating, and I'll say it every time I'm on a microphone, is that some of our families won't feel safe sending their kids to school. We absolutely support that and want to make sure that we are providing programming to those students and families. And so Richfield Public Schools, and frankly, along with every other district in the state of Minnesota, will be providing distance learning or the ability for students to learn in their homes, regardless of if other students are in hybrid or other students are in in-person learning.
Thank you for reiterating that. That is so important that our families, that our students feel safe in going back to school. So that's great that you were able to make sure that our residents know that that is a top priority for you. And then lastly, can you just talk a little bit about the health and safety precautions you will be taking in this upcoming school year to keep our students safe?
Absolutely. So we are a district that will absolutely work with the guidelines set by the governor. And the governor states that we will either go with a model of instruction that is at the level of case rates or more restricted. Our plan is to go with at that case rates. And so we anticipate ourselves having some distance learning, some hybrid learning, and some in-person learning going on during the course of the year. For those in-person learning, we have a wide range of supports and structures to make sure that all of our students are safe and all of our staff are also remaining safe. All of our buildings will remain at 50% capacity or lower. And so we are making sure that all of the students that would typically fill a building won't be filling a building this fall. So we are going to have to figure out how to function at a lower capacity. We're ensuring that everyone is wearing masks, face shields, or PPE, personal protective equipment, to make sure that our adults and our students have distance between them, face masks like we are wearing at this time. We are also making sure of 6-foot capacity separation, and so we are doing social distancing in our building and are going to do everything within our power to maintain social distancing. There's a lot of things we don't necessarily think about that happen in schools that we're also adding safety precaution measures. So breakfast, for example, doesn't happen in a cafeteria, it happens in a classroom, at a student's desk, where when they arrive in school, the breakfast is sitting at their desk waiting for them in a sealed package already. Similarly, lunch is served in the same way, at students' desks, sealed in a way that is protecting them from possible infection through touching materials. Last thing that we're really making sure to do, in addition to signs on the ground, covering up different things like water fountains to make sure that cleaning occurs in an enhanced way, the additional component that we're doing to help protect our students and our staff is creating, to the best of our ability, pods. And pods are a small group of students and one staff person that only interact with each other. And so one of the ways to keep cases or possible cases of COVID from spreading a building is to create pods, or small groups of people who only interact with each other. So what that looks like is students exit the bus, they go to their teacher's classroom, and that group stays together for the entire day. They're there for breakfast, they're there for lunch. The student goes outside with their teacher for recess, and just the same sets of students that are in that classroom. We're also working on creative ways to do that within our secondary schools, because oftentimes students switch classrooms. We're trying to work on multiple ways that kids can be within smaller pods or not have exposure to a wide range of students within the classroom. So as you can see, there are a wide range of things that we're doing, and also a lot of considerations for us to continue focusing on to make sure that all our students and our faculty remain safe.
Great. Thank you so much, Superintendent Unowsky, for sharing this information with our residents. I really look forward to our continued partnership in keeping our residents, our students safe, and continuing our great work in Richfield together. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate your leadership as well in our district. We're very fortunate to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, to partner with the city, and also look forward to the ongoing strength of the partnership between the schools and the elected officials in the Richfield Greater City team.
Thank you.